Hello, welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. I'm Roadkill, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Cirrus Vision G2 Jet that came out not too long ago. I just picked it up, and I figured I'd do a Let's Take a Look video here today. But before we get started, hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell so that you can get up to date on all my latest videos, and leave a comment down below whether or not you have this airplane or not and what you think about it. I'd love to hear from you. With that all out of the way, let's get to flying. Okay, so this thing is packed full of features, and it's just very well modeled. It's a pretty cool airplane. I don't usually fly jets. I like the more vintage aircraft with steam dials and all that. I'm not really into the modern technology kind of flying, but I do want to get into flying more modern jets, so that's why I decided to pick this little thing up. But look at the detail on the modeling here; it's just amazing. But yeah, I picked this up just to get used to flying some jets. Let's go inside the cabin here. If you look at this, we got it set up in the family, I think, configuration. And it's very, very modern, and it's not usually the type of plane I like I said, but it's got a bunch of features here. It's got a TV that flops down for your passengers to watch. Nothing pops up on the TV. It's just there for show. It's kind of cool. The sounds in this thing are amazing, by the way. Just going to say that. Let's open this back door here. So yeah, it's a pretty cool aircraft. If you like all the bells and whistles, this thing has them. And it's not a bad price. It's $25 in the marketplace, and for what you get, it's really worth the price, I think. And I'm actually, let's see, how do you shut that? I'm actually really liking this aircraft more than I thought I would, honestly. So cool. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to go over in this aircraft just because it's packed full of features. So let me get to our cockpit view here real quick. I'll be right back once I switch out of this drone view. All right, I'm going to try to do this with my joystick. Here, let's see. Let's show you how easy this thing is to start up. Go bam, bam, bam. And this isn't the correct order. There's other ways to do it, but you'll see. I just turn that switch on and hit the button, and you're good to fly. You can go flying now, if that's all you want to do. But let's get the other stuff out of the way here before we do our flying. Listen to the sound. It's so great. All right. We're going to put on, right now we're doing the strobe. You turn on the landing lights. That's an ice light. You don't need that on unless you're icing up. Listen to this. So cool. Okay, so we've got everything ready to roll. So if that's all you want to do and you just want to take off and fly, you can. The startup procedures here. Let's go down to this window here. it does all your checks for you. Let's see here. Navigraph charts. If you have a Navigraph account, you can click on that and it'll bring up your Navigraph onto the display here, display charts. But that's like a monthly fee. I don't have that, so that's something that if you do have a Navigraph account, you can bring that up. It'll sync with this aircraft. But all of this stuff here does something. I mean, this is an awesome radio. You can just type it in and hit enter, and you got your frequency for not only your nav radios, but your comm radios as well. You've got the map setting here, which is what we're on now. You've got traffic. You've got weather. I don't think the weather works. I tried it and I don't see any weather on it, so that might be something that you can get later on down the road. I don't know if they'll update that or not, but we'll see. You can do your flight plan here. You just type in what you want. You can have select waypoints. For some reason, it goes working. Usually, so you can type in your waypoint here, but for some reason, I thought you could do your flight plan here. Maybe it's in a different screen. Oh, right here. So you could do your direct to flight plan. I don't know why it's not clicking there. Maybe. Oh, here we go. Add origin. So you can add origin. So let's say I want to go to Kalispell Airport or take off from here. This is CYAZ. I guess I can show you that later in a different flight, but you can type in your flight plan here. CYAZ is where we're at now. Enter, and then you can add a destination. So let's say we're flying to Portland, Oregon, KPDX. You hit enter. You got your flight plan, and then you can add other destinations if you want. So you can do complex flight plans on that. Also, there's procedures that you can program, far more advanced than what I know how to do, so I won't get into that. But here's the charts that you get from Navigraph if you have an account, so you can click on that and get all that information. You have your aircraft systems, your status info, your fuel intake, and all that. You've got electrical power, so it shows your electric, your icing protection, and your landing gear, which is cool. And then you also have your system tests here, which is pretty cool. So let's test the system tests. And you usually have to do that before you take off if you're into procedural takeoffs. Stall. But everything in this airplane's all automated, which is really cool. Let's see here. So we did checklists. Now we have this other stuff. We have wheel chocks, storage cover, so you can put a storage cover on here. For some reason it's not showing up. Maybe it's because the airplane's running. That could be it. But yeah, you could put on your covers and protectors, so let's turn all those off. Luggage door. There's luggage door you can click on. Let's see if that opened it up. So you got your luggage door there that's opened up, and I'll show you. You can do a bunch of different luggages. So you can do a family vacation, a golf trip, a snowboarding trip. So whatever you pick, that's what's going in that luggage container. See, we picked a snowboarding trip, and now you have a snowboard, which is kind of a cool little feature. You can start cold and dark taxi or takeoff. So whatever you want to do, you can start in the taxi power or takeoff. So you don't have to hit this button over here and get it going. Okay, so we have the bows here, which we see these bows here, and if you click that, it'll take them off and you could put them on. So I don't know. I mean, if you think the cockpit sounds are too loud, you can put this on and it'll simulate wearing a headset, which is pretty cool. If you're into quiet flying, it's like a Cadillac, but that's pretty cool. Let me get down here real quick. You can scan this with your phone and it'll take you to the flight manual for this aircraft. And you can do different setups here. Right now we have the family setup. You can do executive or complete. So if you do the executive, see if I can get a view of the back seat here. Oh, I can't do it that way. So why? Well, it adds and takes out seats if you mess around with it to your liking. Trying to get through this so I'm not taking a lot of time. This is your de-icing right here for ice. Your gear up and down, but let me show you something that I really like here. We'll go back down to this center console. We'll go back here. And we'll go to this again. Or no, we already checked that out. You can mess around with your lighting configuration for your dash panels here. And initialization. It's got a checklist for you. If you want to go through your checklist, you can do that. I don't ever do that, but if that's something you're into, it brings up the whole checklist on the screen here. And what you'll do is you'll hit this button to scroll through your checklists right here, and then you press down to check it off. So as you see there, I can check off the checklist right there. I can scroll up and down on that, which is cool for people that like doing the checklists. What else is there? The thing that I wanted to show you is we can go for a map here, and you can have a split screen here. You could do a full screen, and you can customize the map to what you like to see on it, terrain and everything. So let's do traffic and go half there, and then we'll scroll over the map. So you can do traffic and map, or you could just do full screen. So whatever you want. You could have a half map on any of these things, or half and half on it, whatever. Program minimums and a whole bunch of other stuff, timers, and this is how you switch between your GPS and your navs. But there's so many controls in this. You can make it as complex as you want or as simple as you want. So that is what this thing does, and it's really easy to turn off too. All you got to do is go boop, boop, power her down, and she's good to be put into storage and parking. But it's super easy and fun to fly. We're going to take this thing off here shortly, so I'll get back to you once I get this thing set up again and rolling. Let's get this thing fired back up again and program our flight. Whoops. And whoops. We'll get our program going here to program our flight. So we got our flight plan here. We're going to add an origin. We're here in Tofino, Long Beach, Tofino. CYAZ. And then we're going to enter that. And then we're going to fly to Vancouver, BC, which is CYVR. CYVR. And now we should be able to go to where we want to go. So origin CYAZ, destination CYVR. We'll go home and hit this. And what do we want? We want heading up, map. See, there's so much you can change with this thing, as I'm showing you here, and there's more than even what I'm showing you here. I'm just showing you what I know right now. So I don't know why it should be our flight plan should be showing up on the map. CYAZ. CYAZ. Why is it not showing up? Select waypoint. Direct. Okay, that's why. To CYVR. Maybe I'm programming it wrong. CYVR. Huh. I'm doing something wrong. So origin. Select origin airport. CYAZ. Enter. Okay. Direct to CYVR. Enter. Huh. I'm doing something wrong. Oh, I have to activate it. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm still learning this thing, and I just figured it out. You can do this also on the mark or the map on the loading screen. So just keep that in mind, that you can program it. Very in-depth programming on this if you would like. So we're gonna pull on out at Long Beach here and take off to Vancouver. I'm just gonna pull out over here and take off this way. This aircraft's like flying the Batwing in Batman. That's what I compare it to, and it pretty much flies itself. You can fly it manually if you want, but I'll show you some of the other features that are in this aircraft that are pretty cool. And I think I should probably taxi over here. And get as much room as I possibly can, because this thing takes off on long runways. You need some room to take this thing off compared to some of the other planes that I've been flying, so I want to make sure I have adequate runway. Alright, we're going to put the parking brake on here. And we'll get us our thrust. I'm going to throw the flaps to 50%. Flap indicators right here, by the way. And then we want to go to, on the screen it'll say takeoff thrust. And we are good to go. And you can hold takeoff thrust to a maximum of 5 minutes before it burns up your engines. But they suggest 2 minutes unless there's terrain ahead of you. So once we get up to around 80 knots here, 80 to 85 knots, you pull back on the joystick and you're up and running. And good to go. So we'll climb a bit here. I didn't set my altitude, which I usually do on the ground for cruise. So as we climb, that's what I'm going to do, and that's right here. So we're going to go to about 10,000 feet, I think. $10,800. So your climb or your cruise altitude set right there with that, and all you have to do is hit your autopilot on and your nav, and then vertical speed, which you'll be shown right there on the right there, and you just tap that up to the rate of climb you want, and you can climb pretty steep on this thing. I'm going to go 2,000 feet per minute, which is right there. And this thing will climb. Let's take an outside look real quick as it makes this turn. Pretty dang cool. Alright, so now we are climbing at 2,000 feet per minute, and we're on course, or we're not on course, it's taking us to the course. So I have the autopilot assigned, and you just gotta make sure that's on GPS so it does follow your GPS. You can do VOR and everything in this thing. Whoa, I don't know what happened there. My VR went wacky. Let me reset it here. There we go. So down here on the throttle, you can do different settings on your throttle, and it's pretty cool. And right now we're at max climb thrust, MCT, and you can go on auto thrust. So once you get into the climb, you can hit the auto thrust on, and it'll adjust your throttle and keep you from going under or over speed. So it pretty much flies itself if you want auto thrust on, which is really cool. Switch between, it's got auto fuel, so you can switch between manual or just let the plane switch all the auto fuel systems on or off, which is really cool. Your barometric pressure is this black dot right there. I didn't do that. I didn't ATC out of the airport, so that's there. Just trying to think if there's anything else I can show you while we fly. It's just a really cool thing. Let's check out the map features here. Like, you can set up a bunch of different stuff on here. Like, you can add the cities to the map, roads to the map, VOR points, airways, airports, all these things here. What other is there? You can switch the orientation of the map, so if you want north up, you can do that. You can track your vector. You have your wind vector, which is right here, so it shows you which direction the wind's blowing, which is really cool. And I don't know what the track vector is. Oh, that's where we're tracking there, that blue dot on the front of that plane there. So that's pretty cool. What else is there? Flight plan text. Oh, that's cool. So it shows you what your flight plan is there, which is pretty cool. Sensor. Okay, so you can turn traffic on or off. It'll pick it up.
But yeah, that's a lot of interesting stuff that you can do in this aircraft. A lot of fun to fly. This is a perfect, if you want to sightsee, look at the view of this cockpit. It's like one of the best views I've seen in an airplane. It's a panoramic view that you can see everywhere. And besides, it's cool. It's like a limousine. Oh, I'm glitching out of the plane there. Anyways, it looks like we're about to hit 10,000 feet. So our altimeter, our set altitude is flashing there in the blue. And I thought, okay, it switched over to 10,000 feet. So, but we're still climbing. Oh, I did 10,800. Okay, so we're almost there. Once we hit that 10,800, I'm going to show you the auto throttle or auto thrust. We'll click on that. And then watch this. It automatically adjusts your speed, which is really cool, especially when you're trying to do other stuff. You don't have to worry about going over speed if you're flying and trying to program stuff or drink a beer. You can drink a beer and it's giving you your own personal flight while you have an alcoholic beverage or a soda or a tea or a coffee, or you could eat your dinner while you fly. I don't know what you do when you fly. I drink beer when I fly just because it's my relaxation time. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I haven't checked this stuff out much, but it's definitely all programmable. We've got our fuel indicators right there, and what else do we have there? We've got our amps, we've got our flaps there, the little blue line there showing they're up. A lot of information on these modern dials that I'm not used to using, so I'm kind of learning these GPS units as I go. And like, you can change your PDF settings right here, and this is the PDF that we're looking at here. You can set your speed bugs, your timers, so if you want to time maneuvers, you got that. Like right there, you can turn on and off that traffic map. See that flashing on the left hand side of the screen right here? If you click that, PDF map settings you can set. Like, I have mine to train absolute. You can turn it off. Oh, that's my map. Never mind. I want absolute. There's a way to set this up so it doesn't read terrain. I like terrain in case I run into some nasty weather and I can't see out my windshield. But yeah, just a ton of different features that you can program. Now we have our ETA, which is 16 minutes and 24 seconds away from our destination. We're flying with the wind pretty much, so that's good on fuel. And I don't know if I showed you this, but you can zoom in and out with this little knob here on the map to show where you're going. But this thing is so much faster to fly from point A to point B than what I'm used to flying. So it's going to be a lot of fun doing cross-continental flights. And besides, you can have fun and fly down low with this thing and not kill yourself. You got to watch your speed though. That's one thing I've noticed, is if you're flying manual, that speed can get you because you're flying a jet. But yeah, we'll get back to you once we're a little closer to our destination, and we'll start the descent process in this and landing. This thing is going to be kind of squirrely on landing if you're going too fast, so I'll show you that once we get to Vancouver, BC. Okay, I forgot to show you the night lighting in this thing. It's pretty dang cool. You can turn on the lights back here. I'm not sure how to do it, but it'll light up the passenger compartment. I haven't figured that part out yet, but yeah, this is the night lighting. And if you don't like the brightness of your screens like I showed you before, you can dim those. But yeah, it's really nicely lit up, so you can see where you're going and what you're doing. So we're about 11 minutes out, and I'm going to start our landing procedures. And what I like to do is I'll just go down to around 3,000 feet, depending on the terrain. We have a large bay ahead of us, and I know it well, so we're going to do 3,000 feet, and then we'll hit our vertical speed here. And I'm going to drop down 2,000 feet. I guess if you have passengers, I think the minimum for passenger comfort is 1,500 feet per minute. I do 2,000 just because I like flying fast. And if they don't like it, they can jump out the door. A cool thing about this is, see that red button up there? Apparently if you hit that, it'll automatically land for you. I don't know if that's functional in game, but in real life, yeah, it's not functional in game, but in real life, it'll land the plane for you, which is crazy. This thing slows down very nicely on approach. It really, when you hit those flaps, it drains speed quick. It's got a lot of drag. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go freestyle and throttle back. See it's flashing yellow on the thing saying auto thrust is off, letting me know that I have the controls. Now we are at 3,000 feet and coming in. Wow. We're having some wind issues. I don't know why the altitude keeps on coming on. That's what's going on. I don't want the altitude on. What is going on? I have autopilot on, that's why. Autopilot off. That's why. Okay. Alright, now I can control it. I thought it was the wind, but it was the autopilot was still engaged, and it was fighting me on my trim. So I'm going to go to, oh, I got a yellow. I'm not slow enough to use my flaps, although I want them. Alright, there we go. I got 50% flaps. We need to slow down a lot more.
500.
It's too fast for full flaps, so we're going to see what happens here. Alright, I got full flaps now. Gear down, this is what I was afraid of. Alright, there we go. Just gonna slowly drop down. Slowly come to a rolling stop. Ooh. Alright, applying the brake here. And we've made it to Vancouver in the Vision Jet G2. Definitely a fun aircraft to fly. I highly recommend this aircraft. It is awesome. And the only reason I got this one is because it was rated high. It was rated like a 4.8 in the marketplace. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try that one because it's highly rated. And I watched some videos on it and I looked at it. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. The only downside to it, and it's not that big of a downside, is you can't look at your charts on the screen, like your airport plates or your ILS approach plates, unless you have that RNAV. I can't remember what website it is, but you have to pay a subscription for that to work. Other than that, I'm just going to use skyvector.com, get the information I need off of that. But if you do have that membership, it'll show your plates right on the screen for you. So that's a really cool feature that this aircraft has. I'm just kind of bummed out that I have to pay a membership to use it, but other than that, it's all functional and a really cool plane. And I'm going to have a lot of fun flying this from point A to point B, and I'm definitely going to do cross-continental flights in this thing in the future. So I'm going to pull over here and park right here. Just going to park right here in the middle. Why not? I'm going to park and block the taxiway like the AI traffic does. Oh, let's turn this thing off. You got to hear the engines wind down. It's great. Flip all these switches. And hopefully it doesn't do its glitchy. It usually does a glitchy freeze thing when I hit the power button. It did. Okay. Here we are. Listen to that. So cool. Well, thanks for flying with me. I really enjoy this plane, and I highly recommend it if you like jets and having fun. It's a really easy plane to fly, user-friendly. I highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up for me. Have a great weekend, whatever you have ahead of you. Stay safe, and Godspeed.